It has been a bit of a rough patch for President Obama following his roundly criticized debate performance last week. Times like these, a compassionate partner and a not-so-secret weapon are appreciated more than ever. And over the last several months, my co-anchor, Cynthia McFadden, was granted rare access to that person, First Lady Michelle Obama, and joins us now. Good to see you, and I'm guessing big questions and small.
Absolutely, Bill. Good evening. That's right. What's it really like to be married to the leader of the free world and raise children in the White House? And how involved is she in setting the president's political agenda? Well, we asked Michelle Obama those questions and many others at the White House and on the road. With the election now only 29 days away, tonight a close look at the First Lady for our special series, The Contenders, Family Ties.
Looking at her here, it's hard to imagine she was ever reluctant to play the role.
Serving as your First Lady is an honor and a privilege. But back when we first came together 4 years ago, I still had some concerns about this journey we'd begun. How's everyone?
In a candid White House interview, the First Lady explained what it was like for her back then.
The political life wasn't my first choice. We had been doing this for a while, and you know, the toll that this takes on a family is real. So, you know, he knew enough to know that this wasn't just a, sure, honey, whatever you want.
If you had said, no, we can't do this, would we not be sitting here today?
We would not, and that's why I couldn't say no.
Her brother, Craig Robinson, remembers then Senator Obama enlisted him to help sell her on the idea of him running for president.
It's like, I think I'm gonna take a run at the presidency. And I was like, what? Have you talked to your wife about this? He was like, no. So he says to me, he says, you gotta do me a favor. You gotta talk to her because she's not gonna go for it. And I was like, you're right, darn right she's not gonna go for it.
Craig tells me that your husband was outright nervous to tell you that he wanted to run for president. Is he a little bit intimidated, a little bit afraid of you, do you think?
No, not at all. I mean, this is one of the things I love about Barack. He's so used to having strong women in his life. You know, it's odd. I tell him that this is somehow, you know, God keeping his testosterone in check, because really he is surrounded by women. You know, he grew up with a single mom. His grandmother was the true head of household. He's married me. He's got Malia and Sasha, who do not mince their words, and he has sustained himself through a life of strong women.
Her strength, she says, comes from the way she grew up. From the south side of Chicago, where her father worked as a pump operator for the city, and her mother was a homemaker, to the halls of Princeton, where her parents proudly sacrificed so she and her brother could get an Ivy League education.
I choke up, you know, when I talk about this stuff, because it is why we're here.
Needless to say, her own daughters inhabit a much different world. Sasha is now 11, and Malia, a teenager.
It's hard enough to be 14 if your parents aren't the president and the first lady. How do you help her negotiate that really treacherous territory of 14?
We don't do a lot of sort of, oh, woe is me kind of thing. She's doing great. She's got a great life. She's got great friends. She's happy. So it's kind of hard to, you know, especially as we point out, look around. You want to see hardship. You want to see struggle. You don't have it, kid. Having the president as your father is way down on the list of tough. It's just like, you'll be fine.
While she often refers to herself as mom-in-chief, she comes to the role with a high-powered pedigree. A graduate of Harvard Law School, she ultimately walked away from her career so her husband could pursue his political ambitions.
I am his biggest supporter.
But are you also brutally honest?
I am honest, absolutely.
But if you think something's not gone right, you say...
If I think it will help him, you know, but I also temper my remarks, because sometimes, you know, in a job like this, the last thing the President of the United States needs when he walks in the door to come home is somebody who's drilling him and questioning him about the decisions and choices that he's made. So there are definitely times when, you know, I may feel something, but I'll hold back, because I'll know he'll either get to that on his own, or it's just not time.
So outside the White House, there's always lots of chatter about how much is the First Lady influencing policy. How do you see your role in that regard?
I rarely step foot in the West Wing. In fact, people are shocked when they see me there, but I rarely walk in that office because the truth is he's got so many wonderful advisors. So I don't even have the expertise and the time in to be able to provide the kind of advice and guidance that he's already getting. So
I guess there's always the pillow at night if you really feel passionate about something.
Win or lose this election, she says, she has come to love the job she was so reluctant to pursue.
Not only are you the First Lady, but you have a historic role as the first African-American First Lady. Did that come with extra pressures and responsibilities?
I haven't had time to solely step back and reflect yet on my role as the first African-American. I just want to make sure that I'm doing a good job.
Is it different to be a black child growing up in America today than it was 4 years ago?
You know what? I think that because Barack and I are here, and I do think that kids today see a bigger world and understand it, and it's not so threatening.
As an example, a photo that hangs in the hall outside the Oval Office, showing a little boy who'd asked the president, "Does your hair feel like mine?"
And Barack said, "Why don't you touch it?" And he bent over, and after he touched it, he said, "Yeah, it does feel like mine." It speaks to who my husband is at his core. If this is what it takes to make all kids in this country feel some kind of connection to this place and to these opportunities and see themselves in these seats and to thrive, I mean, every single one of our kids, then he will do it and I will do it. And that's what makes this job so special.
Well, and tomorrow night we continue our series with the First Lady as we travel with her to Florida for a cause close to her heart. Bill?
We'll look forward to that one as well. Cynthia, thank you.